What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, and welcome back to another episode of the Five Takeaways, where we'll be looking at the game against Wolves. We drew 1-1 at the Molineux. We'll be giving you a look at the 5 takeaways that we're taking away from this game, and then in the comment section, you can let me know what we've missed out and your takeaways. And what
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will.
Yeah, exactly. But look, let's start off with the first takeaway, and that is the away woes.
Yeah, our away form is starting to turn into a bit of an issue. Not only have we not won in our last 4 games in total, we haven't won in our last 4 away games. Chelsea, we haven't won since West Brom, actually, away from home. So it's been a while, you know.
But we played in that period because we've had some hard away games.
We have had some tough games. Chelsea, Liverpool, Palace, and now Wolves. 2 defeats, 2 draws, 5 goals scored in our last 6 away games. So really struggling to score goals away from home. And although we haven't conceded that many, we are struggling to score. And at least at home, apart from the Leicester game, we are getting pretty much 2 goals a game. But away from home, we're struggling to get more than a goal. And it's becoming a bit of a
at the beginning of the season, it was the flip side. We were doing awful at home, and then we couldn't get a win at home, and we were beating everyone away. Now it's the other way around.
We actually won our first 4 away games.
Yeah,
you know, we got 12 out of 12, and now we haven't won for 4. So maybe our away form is regressing to the mean. It looks like.
I think when you look at it, Chelsea away, we hardly ever win there. Liverpool away, we hardly ever win there. Wolves away, yes, we've won there the last 2 years, but it was a bit unjust that we won both those games. It's always a very hard game playing away at Wolves. And who was the other one? Palace. I mean, it's always a very tight game, so drawing 1-1 there is not exactly crazy to talk about, is it?
Individually, they're not the worst results, but as a collective, there seems to be a bit of a pattern. That's the thing.
Yeah. All right, shall we get on to the second takeaway?
Let's go.
All right, the second takeaway is the early bird that gets stung.
So this season, as we've seen, pretty much most games, we've had the best start pretty much to games out of anyone. In the first 15 minutes, we've scored the most goals. We've gone 1-0 up most times out of anyone in the league, but we have dropped 9 points from games from conceding in the last 10 minutes of games this season. 9 points. That is a lot. That is a lot of points at this stage of the season, and it could really be make or break in our season, to be honest, the way things are going. So we really need to sort that out, though. Those goals conceded in the last 10 minutes, they're proving so costly, and it's becoming a big issue.
It wouldn't make too much of a difference if our early bird thing, you know, that you just talk about, you know, we always have early starts and we're the best starters in the Premier League at the moment. It wouldn't matter too much if we actually took that a bit further and went for that second goal, went for that third goal. And I think that's what we need to be doing.
Which will lead us on to our next takeaway.
Exactly. And number 3, the third takeaway is game of 2 halves.
Yeah, because right now in the second half, Tottenham are really struggling to mount any sort of pressure or attacks in the second half. Usually we are leading at this point and we're sitting back, but Spurs have only had 22 shots over the last 7 games in second halves of games. So averaging around 3 shots per second half in each of the last 7 games. That is just not enough. It's not enough adventure. It's not enough. I'm not asking enough questions of the opposition defenses, and it's getting easy to deal with at the moment. They know that we're not going to come out in the second half. They put pressure on us, and although to be fair to us, we're dealing with it generally fairly well. It usually, when it comes to the last 5-10 minutes, the pressure usually tells, and it just needs one moment. That's the thing. The thing is, we need to get lucky a lot of times. They just need to get lucky once, and that is the crux of the issue. And us not having any adventure in the second half is becoming a big problem.
And the game yesterday actually told the kind of story of the season for Tottenham and Wolves, because Wolves have been awful in first halves and come back in it in second halves, which is what they did yesterday pretty much. And Tottenham, on the flip side, are the other way around, the opposites. We're usually good in first halves, which we were, and then tail off and in the second half. And that's exactly how the game panned out yesterday, wasn't it?
Yep, completely. It was carbon copy of what we've seen many times, and that's the thing. Everyone could see it coming, and when it came, it was just so frustrating because everyone could see what was about to happen. And at the end of the day, when we sit back as much as we do, it's becoming a bit of an issue because we're relying on they're just relying on one moment in the opposition, and they're getting it, or they have been getting it in the past few games.
Look, let's move on to the fourth takeaway from the 1-1 draw at the Molineux, and that is defending tells the story.
Yeah, so our defending this season is a bit of a weird situation because our defense is what's been letting us down in the last 5-10 minutes. However, our defense has probably also been the strong point of our past 7 games as well, because from open play, we've still only conceded 3, which is the lowest of any Premier League team this season. And of those 3 goals, Lamptey's and Salah's probably, especially Lamptey shouldn't have stood. Salah's was a lucky goal, but we're the 3rd highest in the league from set pieces. 6 goals conceded from set pieces, which is really costing us points. Seriously costing us points. And if we can just tighten up from set pieces, we could be in a much better situation. But at the moment, it seems like Mourinho is coaching. When we rely on Mourinho's coaching for the defense, we're doing well. But when we rely on individuals to mark their men, that's when we start falling apart. So maybe there's something to that.
And it always seems to be late on in a game as well. It's not just like it doesn't happen throughout the game like we're giving away set pieces and we're defending set pieces. It's literally one-off set pieces every time right at the end of games.
Every time, which must be so frustrating for Mourinho to contend with because we've got ourselves in a situation pretty much every time where we're in a decent position for a result and we throw away every time in the last 5-10 minutes from a set piece. And it just be so frustrating because you can see he's coached the team really well defensively. He has. You've got to say that because we're really so unlikely to score and concede from open play. But this set piece issue is letting us down. And whether you can blame him or the players, I'm not sure yet.
All right. Well, let's move on to the 5th and final takeaway from the game yesterday. And this is a good one. Reasons to be positive because we all need it at the moment.
Yeah. Look, going into the festive, we're in the middle of the festive period at the moment, and there are plenty of reasons to be positive. We're still only 6 points off the top of the table, which is only the 2nd time in the last decade we've been in this kind of position. So that's a reason to be positive. This is only the 2nd time ever, pretty much in our history, that we've still been in all 4 competitions. Come this time of year, within 6 points of the top. Semi-finals of a cup competition, still in Europa League. Obviously, the FA Cup we haven't started yet, but we're still in the FA Cup. So there's so much to play for.
It helps that the season started a month later, though.
Huh?
It helps that the season started a month later.
Has helped. We are still, it has helped. We are still 6 points off the top. Look, the facts are the facts. We're 6 points off the top. We're in the semi-finals of a cup, and we're in the last 32 of the Europa League. So there's still a lot to play for. We've got a good run of games coming up now. If we can put a bit of a run together, we can put this run behind us, and we can still be in for a good season. I know at the moment it's frustrating, and the same things seem to be happening, but there's still a lot of time to turn it around. And people going overboard at this stage of the season is what it is. It's going overboard. There's no need to panic. There's no need to be too worried at the moment. It's not as if we're getting battered 3-4-0 each week. That's not happening. They're very, very tight games. There's fine margins, which is costing us. And it's something that can definitely be rectified. And I'm still positive going into the rest of the season. And I know no win in 4 is slightly worrying, but there's still a lot to play for.
I mean, I'm also very positive. I might not have sounded it in my post-match reaction yesterday. I might have gone a tiny bit overboard in my reaction, kind of a bit reactionary, but it was still some valid points in there at the end of the day. But look, it is still early in the season. I know it's like late December, but it's not the late December like it usually is every year because the season started a month later, so we're still playing a bit of catch-up.
People have short memories, people act like under Pochettino, every game was free-flowing and every game was amazing attacking football and we never had to dig deep and dig in for wins and win 1-0 or go through periods where we weren't winning. Even in our best season under Pochettino, 16-17, when we finished second, 86 points, even then we had periods where we weren't winning and we were struggling. And even the first half of the season, I remember we drew so many games and we weren't on top of the game, when it wasn't until the second half of the season we really kicked into gear. So, look, there's still a lot of time time. A lot of football to be played. We still got a very good squad. I think the best is yet to come for us this season. And I still think we're finding a right balance. And it is a process. And hopefully Jose can find the right balance going to the second half of the season. Yeah,
and you just got to look at other teams around us. Nobody is putting together that run of form, that proper run of form. Look at Leicester. Look at Everton as well. Look at Everton, for God's sake. They were on top of the league. They lost 4 games in a row, and then everyone was like, "Oh, this is the end of Everton. We're not going to see them again." And now they're back up into second, only 3 points behind Liverpool. So you just put 1 or 2 or 3 wins together, and you're really high flying again.
I look at our problems compared to other teams' problems, and I don't think our problems are as bad. I really don't. I look at our team, and I still see a team playing well, playing as a team, playing as a good unit, being defensively solid. And I think we've always got a chance to win in every game. Every game we've got a chance to win it. That's the positive thing. Everton go away to Newcastle and they lose 2-0, and it's a really performance. We haven't had something like that yet. Lost games and we've dropped points, but we haven't had like a really poor performances and games where we've had no chance of winning. Maybe apart from Leicester, you would say that was probably the only time. So
I think we were poor that game.
And maybe Everton. Now, still only 1-0, and we had chances in that game. So it's still, look, I think there's lots of reasons to be positive. I think we can definitely turn this around. And I think we're still going to be in for a good season. I'm very confident of that.
I think what hurts the most is the kind of Spursy tag in the sense of West Ham game, the Wolves game, the Palace game, the Newcastle game. Games where we should have taken all 3 points in all of those games and we didn't. And in most of those games, it was because of last-minute set pieces. And that's the thing that hurts the most, because if we would have taken all those points, we'd be flying high top of the league right now.
What's annoying, I think what the difference is at the moment, what I can see is at the moment, we've been our own undoing this season. That's the most annoying thing. We haven't been outplayed or anything by any team. No one has played us off the park. No one has completely turned us over. Every time we drop points is from our own undoing, and that's what's the most hurtful thing. But the great thing about that is it's under your control to turn it around, and that's what the most important thing is.
All right, so that is it. Those are the 5 takeaways. We spoke about the away woes. Early bird gets stung. A game of 2 halves. Defending tells the story, and reasons to be positive, and there were plenty of them. Let me know in the comment section below what your 5 takeaways are. Let us know what you thought of our takeaways. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always,
come on, you Spurs.